Good afternoon, everybody. Gary here. It is Tuesday, June 9th, 2015, day 336. It's the end of week 48. I am 4 weeks away from being on this diet for a year, but I've spent basically the last 5 or 6 months spinning my wheels, wasting my time, been thinking over things the last few days, and I've come to a realization that I have a very big problem. That problem's me. For some reason, I've basically lost my will, or my willpower, whatever you want to say. Where in the beginning, things were easy. I could resist the urges and the cravings for things, and was to where when things got too bad, I could, have a little bit of something that was, good. Let's go ahead and define that. Good is things that aren't good for you, things that are very flavorful, tasty, succulent, rich, things you don't eat on a diet. Things that, we live in a culture where things that are good for you aren't necessarily very good, and things that are very good really aren't that good for you. But we all know that. But in the beginning, I was to where I could resist those or just take a small taste and be satisfied for a week or two. But it's gotten to where now, when I get a craving, my mind isn't happy with a bite or two or a good taste, even though I'm not hungry. And for some reason, I've realized that there'll be something good available, and my brain will just say, don't know when you'll get the chance to have this again, so you better eat what you want. And that's what I do. Last week I was having a very good week. On Wednesday had been down consistently 3 pounds on the scale at home, so I knew I was definitely down. Because when the scale weighs consistently over like a 12-hour period or so, the same, pretty close, then you can trust it. It's just when you weigh different, stepping on it 5 or 6 times every time, that you can't. So I was consistently down about 3, and by Friday I was down about 4, and so I was planning on having a good 6 or so pound loss coming up tomorrow. And then the weekend rolled around. I was supposed to work for Saturday, but Little Ma wanted to spend the night, which is fine. We're a firm believer that if we can say yes to our grandkids, we do. And spending the night is a no-brainer. And the problem is that Jackie had to work Saturday. Johnny had to work Saturday. Autumn had to go buy groceries. And since I didn't have to be at work, I stayed home with her. Well, she slept late. So while I was waiting on her to get up, I was bored. I couldn't work on things I needed to work on because I didn't know when she'd wake up, and I didn't want to be covered in insulation like I would be when she woke up. So I didn't work on anything, and so I was bored sitting around, and that's not ever good. And then when she woke up, things were fine until she was hungry, and so when I was fixing her something, I was fixing something good, and I'm like, well, I'll have a little bit. So I had a little bit, and then of course, she got to watching a cartoon, and I got bored again, which is never good. And then by the time the evening rolled around, I was in a foul mood, which on top of being bored is never a good thing. And then Sunday was even worse. Sunday we had Patrick's birthday dinner, and we had things that I really like. And on top of that, Johnny and I had a small spat Sunday morning, and I was in a bad mood again. So it was a bad weekend, and just roll it all together, come to today. Got on the scale yesterday evening, weighed about 4 times, and was consistent every time, and I was up about 3 pounds over where I was last Friday, and that's 3 pounds actually over where I was before last Wednesday, so that's 8 pounds up. And then this morning I got on the scale after sleeping all night and was even a pound heavier. So go figure. So I'm not expecting any good news tomorrow. I've got to figure out my problem, which is me. I got to get my mind back into this because I don't know what it is. I don't know what to do because the appetite suppressant's working fine. I'm not hungry. My brain is telling me though that I may not ever get to have this again, so I better eat. Johnny asked me the other day if there's something I'd like to have, and that's another problem. There's nothing I would like to have. Nothing ever sounds good to me anymore. I don't know what's going on. It's all mental. I got to get back in the swing of things because it's a vicious cycle. This is not making me happy. When I'm not happy, I turn to the only thing that really comforts me, which is food, according to my brain, which makes me more unhappy because I ate it. I'm happy while I'm eating it, but when I get done, I feel guilty and everything, so it just sucks. So that's where I'm at. Tomorrow I'm going to have a game. I'm just planning on it. I mean, I've accepted it. Last week I was looking forward to it and was in a good spirit about it, and this week I'm like, yeah, right, here I go again. So that's where we're at. It's not good. Got to get back on track. Don't know what I'm going to do. That's yet to be decided. So for day 336, this is Gary out. Bye.